Hey guys, welcome to the third episode of my history channel. Today I'll be going over the history of weapons. First up, we have the Aztec broadsword, 1570 BCE. It was a flat piece of wood with obsidian stuck into the sides. It was simple yet lethal. It was one of the most effective, it was a really effective weapon. You could take a horse's head in one swipe. Next up, we have the English longbow. Next up, we have the English longbow and Balkan tip arrow. Longbow had greater accuracy and range than any other bow at the time. Any other bow. And the Balkan tip arrow went straight through chainmail, meaning at the Battle of Crécy, English longbow archers butchered French knights. And then the last battle, and one of Wallace's last battle before being captured, he, or I think it was Nordic longbowmen, and I think that were fighting alongside the English tore his tore Wallace's Sir William Wallace's Chiltern formations to pieces. Next up, we have the Brown Bess rifled musket. We saw action in most notably the Battle of Shiloh in the American Civil War, but also the First Opium War, the Boer War, and the Indian Mutiny. It was a rifled musket, meaning the flintlock rifled musket, meaning it was one of the first weapons to have a rifled barrel. Next up, we have the Gatling gun. It was the first quote unquote machine gun, powered by a crank, which you can see here. It had 10 barrels and a crew of two. One person held the stick magazine in place, or the magazine in place, while the other one worked the handle. Next up, in the Mosin Nagant Sniper version 1891. Mosin Nagant was one of the best rifles of all time, or World War II. And I was surprised to learn that I think it was 90% of all Red Army snipers were young women during World War II, acting in pairs. One girl looking, and a lot of work, just girls. Not even, some of them weren't even proper adults yet. One girl would spot targets while the other one actually shot the rifle. Then they'd swap. Next up, we have the British Lewis gun, 1911. Used throughout both world wars by both British and American forces. It had 6,000 RPM, 5,000 rounds per minute, and the sixth magazine was not unlike that of Russian BP. It had a built-in water jacket, which is why the barrel was so big, and it was used on aircraft in the First World War and the gunner positions on fighters and bombers. Next up we have the Browning Vietnam. Next up we have the BAR 1918. BAR was used by American forces and American troops in both World War II and Korea. It was a great weapon in all regards but ammunition. Its box magazine only held 20 rounds, meaning you had to reload often, but was generally considered a good weapon anyway. And it was one of the first quad automatic weapons. And so it has the MG34 light machine gun. The German MG34 was used throughout all of World War II. It was either used a box magazine or a drum magazine here, or was belt fed. Fired all Mauser ground types, all types of Mauser ground. Fired all types of ammunition, even armor piercing. Next up, we have the German Kar 98 bolt action rifle. The bolt action this bolt action rifle was standard issue for German soldiers in World War II. It was one of the most effective and powerful bolt action rifles in the Second World War. Next up, we have the beautiful British Bren gun. It was a really effective machine gun with a steady rate of fire and high capacity magazine. And it even had an exchangeable barrel, meaning that when the barrel overheated, it could be removed and the fresh one attached. Next up, we have the infamous German MG42. That was also it also had nicknames like Hitler's Buzzsaw or the Beast of Omaha. It also had the exchangeable barrel and by 120 meaning. And I'm pretty sure that meant I'm pretty sure it was the fastest firing machine gun in World War II. If there were any faster firing machine guns in World War II, please let me know in the comment section below. And what's your favorite? And tell me and put your favorite weapon in the comment section below. I'd love to hear from you guys. Next up, we have the Sten gun, the less known British SMG. Many variants were made, including science version for special operations. It was the most adaptable guns of the. It was one of the most adaptable guns of the war. And you see the magazine. You see the survivor. Magazine attached to the side. Six mags at one. Essentially, would grip it with one hand holding the magazine with the other one fired gun. Next, we have the American M1 carbine. It was in 1942 to Korea, and I believe it was the beginning of Vietnam, but was swiftly replaced by the M16 assault rifle. It was a. This was essentially just a short version of the M1 Garand with a slightly bigger magazine. 30 rounds instead. I think it was 20 or 30 rounds instead of just the M1 Garand's 8. One second, guys. Next up, we have the Commando Carbine, 1942. British Delisty Carbine was a silenced rifle used in World War II. It was actually I don't know that much about it, to be perfectly honest, but I just thought I'd include it. Next up, we have the German STG-44 assault rifle. First made in 1943 and continued to the end of the war. It was the world's first assault rifle. And most likely what the Russians based the AK-40, their basically infamous AK-47 off of. It was a fully automatic assault rifle with 30 round, with 3 round. No, sorry, it was a slick-fire rifle, which means you could switch between semi-automatic, burst fire, and fully auto. And it had a 30 round mag, and was generally revolutionary. Next up, we have it. Next up, we have the AK-47. Do you see a resemblance between the AK-47 and the STG-44? I know I do. It saw the AK-47 seen action from the 1960s to the modern day. From the 50s and 60s to modern day. I'm unsure on whether it's fully automatic or not. If anyone knows, leave a comment. Also, don't forget to leave a like on the video, subscribe, and hit the bell icon for and turn on post notifications as well. The AK-47 packs a punch. It is one of the most infamous guns ever. Many countries have made their own versions, like the Chinese Kalashnikov. There's also and then there's the AK-47, AK-74U carbine, which I will get you later in this slideshow. Next up, we have the minigun, made 1962. Miniguns are well-known weapon. Well-known gun thanks to Fortnite. Fires 2,006 rounds a minute, 2,600 rounds, 2,006 rounds a minute. It has 6 barrels. They're operated by an electric motor. There are other versions like the A-10 Warthog's Avenger rotary cannon. Other versions of it used in fighters and other aircraft. And of course, there's the Vulcan, used on AC-130 and some other. The Vulcans used on most fighters. Next up, we have the Dragunov sniper rifle. This is one of the coolest rifles ever made. It is a Russian sniper with a telescopic scope and 10-round mag. And it's one of my all-time favorite snipers. Next up, we have the M16, 964. M16 is one of my favorite rifles. Used in Vietnam, it was a slick-fire weapon. Again, I know this before, but I'll go over again just in case anyone forgot. Slick-fire means you can change it. Means you can either fire semi-automatic. You can either fire semi-automatic, one bullet per pull of the trigger. Burst fire, burst of bullets, usually 3 or 4, or usually 3 or 5 per squeeze of the trigger, one burst, and Phonemic, which is, the fire as long as you're holding the trigger down or until it runs out of ammo, whichever comes first. The MP5 is another select fire weapon. It is popular with special forces around the world who want a easily concealable weapon. It's an all-around good weapon. You can see it as a flashlight. So it preaches more. It's more of a special forces version. It is known to be rugged and reliable. Next up, we have the FNP90. The FNP90 is a modern submachine gun and it's one of the coolest looking assault or submachine guns ever. I love the magazines. I love the magazines placed on top. This is one of the coolest weapons ever, in my opinion. Next up, we have the M4 rifle, 1991. The M4 rifle is a modern U.S. assault rifle. It uses 3 box lightning fires. The standard 7.62 millimeter NATO rounds. It's in action in every recent major conflict, including both Gulf Wars and the Iraq War, and all the wars in Iraq, all the Iraq wars. No, I said both Gulf Wars and the Iraq War. The AK-74U, as I mentioned, I mentioned this earlier when I mentioned it on the slide on the AK-47 slide. This is a shortened version of the AK and a replacement for the AK-74. The same thing on box mag as other assault rifles. It's also meant to be easily concealed. Yeah. So, if you guys say any of that, it is a shortened assault rifle or submachine gun, depending on how you look at it. And it's popular with many Middle Eastern armies and groups, as well as Russian forces. Next up, we have another German rifle, the G36. Again, made by Heckler & Koch. Heckler & Koch, who made the G3 assault rifle, their famous German modern assault rifle. And it is a rifle used on a global scale. You can see the stock has a hinge so it can fold in for hip firing, and the scope's built in directly, and this is the scope here, directly behind the carrying handle, and kind of just, you can see the hole in the carrying handle here for the scope, and so you can, use the scope. This is one of my all-time favorite assault rifles. And last but not least, we have the FN Scar H. This is if you know Fortnite, you know this rifle. It is a Belgian rifle, but it's popular with many NATO countries. It can come with iron sights or I forgot I said that. Any of that. Yeah, but apart from that, yeah. It is a famous weapon thanks to Fortnite, and you can use a serial magazine, and can come with a scope or iron sight. I personally think this might be my all-time favorite modern weapon, though it's close tie between the Scar, the P90, the G36 and the AK, but yeah, it's besides the point. Point is, this is an awesome assault rifle. I'm pretty sure it's select fire. If I'm wrong, let me know in the comments below. And again, leave your favorite weapon in the comment section below, and I'll see you guys in the next episode.